Schneider, your instructor for SES 502, and we're going to be talking about Milestone 2 today. You survived Milestone 1 and congratulations! Now we're going to be using the same 3 articles and we're going to expand upon it by reviewing and critiquing reliability, validity, and credibility. It is going to be in kind of a tougher paper in the sense that it's going to rely more on your critique and less on content from the paper. The paper is still going to be APA formatted, so I'm still expecting you to use Times New Roman, double-spaced, 12-point font, use past tense, and still include that title page. No abstract is needed. Definitely take a look at the take a look at the rubric before you get started so that you're not missing anything. I often get asked at this point from students whether or not they should be starting a new paper or adding to their old paper. Neither way is the right nor the wrong way. I'm very, very flexible. Do whatever is most comfortable for you. Some students like to take the content that they developed for Milestone 1, add to it. Other students like to just tack on Milestone 2 at the end of Milestone 1, and others simply like to start brand new and only submit Milestone 2. Absolutely fine, whichever option that you choose. Just know that you're going to be combining Milestones 1, 2, and 3 together for your final paper. That means that you can start integrating some of the feedback that I've left you from Turnitin. That hopefully, at the very latest, you'll be including for your final paper. If you do it now, you'll have less work in week 9. If you do it later, you're just going to have a little bit of more work in week 9. I do encourage you, without question, to review that feedback. I don't want you making the same mistakes and the same errors in Milestone 2 that you did in Milestone 1. You will lose more points for that. So let's take a look at the critical elements. The first is going to be asking you to compare the research methodologies. Remember, methodologies means we're taking a look at a correlational study, an experiment, a true experiment, a quasi-experimental design. Make sure that you identify, for the very minimum, the different methodologies for the 3 articles that you've been reading, and make perhaps a comparison of what would be better and why, and how new information is coming about. Focus or add some information about strengths and weaknesses as well. You're going to add a little bit more information about the methodology as well. You want to make sure that you're developing more information of what you did with what they did with the participants. What kind of surveys they used, what kind of questions were in the surveys. This is also in particular going to help with the next critical element, which is validity. I have spent a whole video focusing on validity and another one on reliability, so I'm not going to be focusing on the content of validity, more about what I'm going to be looking for when I'm grading these papers. It is really hard as your first class in graduate school to apply the different types of validity. I'm not expecting that. Instead, I really want you to focus more on critiquing the articles. Tell me why you think that there might be confounds, or why the measures seem to be measuring what they think that you should be, that face validity. Provide some support for that. That's a great way to show development of validity. I'm definitely going to be giving you a few more guidelines and helpful comments in Turnitin once you've submitted it. Make a good faith effort. There are lots of videos out there. Dr. Depew is another professor here at SNHU, and there is a video from her in the module for this week. Take a look at that. Try to include terminology from your text, but if that gets too confusing, leave that out. Validity, it is not an all or none construct. You can identify support for validity and support for reliability. all the papers that you are reading have some validity. They have also some reliability. You cannot have validity without reliability, which is kind of like a little bit of a hint. They all have both. So don't try to get out of doing a nice assessment of a paper's validity by simply stating that because it has no reliability, it also has no validity. It's not going to work well. For reliability, same. Do the best at applying and critiquing the studies that you've read. If you have difficulty applying the terms, that's okay. Then we also add in credibility. We don't focus as much on credibility. We also don't provide you with a definition for credibility. One of the suggestions that I have is define it. How are you looking at credibility for this paper? It's not necessarily going to be based on reliability or validity. For example, a peer-reviewed journal article may lend credibility to an article, but it doesn't fall under validity or reliability. Then you're going to go back, take a look at the conclusions that the authors identified, and based on the reliability, validity, and credibility, are those conclusions appropriate? Or do you have some concerns about it? In Milestone 1, I'm a little bit more flexible with this articulation because I think a lot of times students don't have a good expectation of what I'm looking for. It's going to get a little bit harder now. I definitely want you to make an effort to use APA citations, references. So if you're not integrating that information, you're going to be losing some points here for the articulation. I wish you all the best as you work forward into Milestone 2. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm here to help, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.